Hello, ladies and gentle ladies. Welcome back to another railroad development stream. And today we're going to be working on semantic analysis. Let me just turn the music down a little bit. There you go. So it has been a while, a really long time that we've been working on any of the SST really, but I think it's time to get back to working on it. So as you can see, there is a lot here, and if I go to Git, I can quickly show you actually. Go find railroad in here. Yeah, so the current state is we have 113 changed files. So look at all of this. So this is basically a complete rewrite of like most of the SST. And also adding a significant portion of the semantic analysis. Now, I think I can actually show you. I think. I believe it is wired up into the editor, but we can check, I suppose. So I'm just going to open Railroad SST Test, which is a project I have specifically to test some things. Just close these. So if we open a.java, we can see here we get an error here. It says ambiguous import for list between java.util.list and java.awt.list. So that is an inspection. Then we also have here duplicate import java.util.list, because obviously this is duplicated. We also have like this one here, so cannot resolve name missing name, which is basically all the ones in here. If we go into B here, we have unresolved static owner, so basically saying like this just doesn't exist, right? And then this is unresolved static member. So there's no such method called not real inside of math. That is a static method. We have C as well. So in C, it says here, pi is not accessible. So is that true? Is that correct, actually? I'm not sure that's correct. It says pi is not accessible. Not sure, actually, if that's correct. But you can see it does resolve max, right? So it's saying that max is fine. I'm not sure if that would normally be accessible there or not. Okay. We also have D as well. So this is the kind of the last just files I have. So for example here we've got incompatible assignment, so cannot assign an integer to a boolean. So those are some of the ones there are, but there's a lot more than that that like I just don't have implemented. I don't know what this is. Like I don't know what this red box is. I don't know where that's come from. I have not seen this before, so I don't know. Quite a few things are a little bit broken at the moment, so we'll just have to ignore that. So yeah, today we're just going to be working on some basic inspections, just try and get the hang of things. So I will say, for those who are not aware, Codex has done like a significant portion of this. So like I haven't done a lot of this. Which is why we're going to try and figure out how to do this, so that I don't have to rely on Codex going forwards, because obviously that's not ideal. Now I do have a rough idea of how to do that. So I wrote this one myself, for example, the wildcard import. So all this does is it basically gives a warning, and then it says avoid wildcard import. Now the entire kind of point of this system is that you can turn off specific ones, so you could just turn this one off. Later down the line that will kind of be in part of the context menu, but for now you do have to just go into the settings to do that. Now this one really could just be like an info rather than a warning, and this is also kind of the one that maybe you would say this should be disabled by default. But now it's fine. Regardless, we are going to work on a couple more that are pretty similar today, and they're all going to be pretty simple. Maybe towards the end of the stream we'll do some more that are more complicated. I haven't come up with any more complicated ones, but there's certainly more complicated ones we could do. Yeah, maybe something like unreachable code, maybe. It wouldn't be easy, but doable. So that's something we can consider later down the line. But for now, the first one I think we want to do is empty catch blocks. So obviously, I should say, there are tons of inspections, like hundreds, if not thousands, maybe. I don't know exactly how many there are. Obviously, we'll kind of just need to go through, and eventually we're going to have to kind of find a way to list them all. That maybe may involve going through IntelliJ to do that. And just seeing if IntelliJ has a list somewhere. Presumably it does. And then obviously later down the line, we're going to have more modding on Minecraft specific ones, right? So for example, later down the line, we might have something like if you import the entity class from Java X, I think it is. Maybe if you import that, it gives you a warning that just says, did you mean to import, and then insert Minecraft entity class, right? Things like that we could do later down the line. For now, also, I should say, this only supports file inspections. So, like project-wide inspections will not be possible. Because the way it currently works is each file doesn't know about the other files in the project. In theory, shouldn't be too tricky to fix, but we do need to write like a full indexing system and stuff for that. So that's kind of after we've got all of the per file ones done. After we've got all the file ones done first, we'll move on to those. So, as I say, first one I think we want to do is handle empty catch blocks. So if there's an empty catch block, we just give it a warning, and we just say, I don't know, empty catch block, you know, exception should be handled. I don't know exactly what IntelliJ says. Try... Does IntelliJ actually say anything? Yeah, it does. So it says empty catch block. Okay, that is it. And obviously the resolution is to rename E to ignored. We don't have that right now. We don't have a way to do that. But later down the line, obviously, we can do that too. That shouldn't be too tricky to do, but obviously we'll have to come up with some kind of patch system for that. I don't know exactly how we'll do that. But regardless, I think let's just get started. So let's, I mean, this is something we could do as well, but that's slightly more complicated and slightly more involved, so we'll skip it for the moment. Let's just call it empty catch. And empty catch block. Now, I think we just get rid of this. Like, we don't care about, like, if I do this, it doesn't say, yeah. So that's fine. We'll do the same as IntelliJ does. We'll just put that in brackets like that. So all of these, we're just doing like sem underscore. That's just the convention. Now I should say this does support plugins as well. So plugins can register their own semantic rules. And in that case, this would be, instead of sem, it might be, for example, you know, plugin ID underscore empty, right? Sem is just like the railroad one. That is just like the default one. So yeah, empty catch. This shouldn't be too hard. From there, I think the best place is just to make the actual rule. Hello, Lumi the Hedgehog. Welcome to the stream. So let's just create a new class. What is that? Custom inspection. What is that? What is this? I meant to type test, but what is this? Interesting. So for some reason IntelliJ So I think it maybe because it sees this is an inspections folder. So what, like if I do one here, yeah, interesting. So because IntelliJ sees this folder is named inspections, it says I can make a new IntelliJ inspection, which is kind of funny. Obviously that's not what we want. We just want a custom class, but that is an interesting thing to note. Let's do the empty catch inspection. Okay, so we just extend simple Java inspection rule. Is that right, actually? No, that's not right. It's Java inspection rule provider, which I think is actually an interface, right? Either way, we're going to want an ID as kind of it's done here. And then we are going to want this rule as well that is also done here. So let's do, I think the rules need to be private. So we'll do a list, and I think it's just a Java inspection rule. Rules is equal list dot of, and we'll come back to that in a second. Let's override our methods that it wants us to override. So ID and also rules like that. And then in here we can just do a new simple Java inspection rule, and it wants the ID. So I mean, kind of, it knows what it's doing. Like Copilot knows what it's doing, so like this will be correct, but not quite what we want. So it's correct actually up until here. Wait, no, it's not. No, it is. It's just this is not the severity. The severity is that one. And then this is just the template. So like in this one, we don't actually have a template. And there's the list of tags. I don't remember what those are for. And then the evaluator. So evaluator is context and a reporter. So generally what I've been doing in the other ones is we were doing private void report empty catch, and then that just takes in those here, right? Now, yeah, so this just needs to be static as well, and yeah, that should actually be like that. Doesn't like this because that needs to be, oh, that's the wrong severity. So this needs to be severity from Semantic Diagnostic. Okay. Now we can do, I assume we can get the catch clauses, no? If we can't, we can always traverse and we can just find the catch clauses. It doesn't actually look like we can just get the catch clauses, which is okay. Yeah. Semantic analysis, like expecting the words methods. Yes, that is correct. So I think for this one we want to traverse, and if syntax node dot kind is equal basically this, yeah, but it's not, that's not okay. I was saying it's kind of right, but it's not quite right. Yeah, so that gets us the node, but then we actually want to get the, how does this work? I don't remember. Can we get the, okay, let me show you one of the ones that already exists and why I'm a little bit confused on this one. So the one I just did, for example, is this one. And all it does is it just goes through the import entries. That should probably be like that, by the way. And then if it's a wildcard, then it reports it. So this is obviously not working as one would hope. You can see that's because this takes in an import index. Because obviously you want to cache that when you're running inspections on imports. You don't want to have to go through all the imports every single time, so it caches them. But obviously that's not going to work with this because we don't have a way to just access that. Also, this needs to be implements. So we can get the children, but that doesn't really help us, does it? What can we get from the kind, I wonder? Index kind. Oh. Wait. Wait. Okay. I see. Okay. Yeah. I thought that must have been here somewhere. Okay. So we don't actually want to check it's a node. What we want to do is we want to get the kind.id, and we want to check that that'll be equal to the catch clause. I assume catch clause is correct. I actually don't think it is. I think it's Java catch clause, but we can check. Yeah, in fact, all of these are Java underscore, so it should be that. Obviously, we don't want to use double equals. We want to just do equals like that. Best way I would say is to negate that. And we just want to return. We don't want to return anything. We just want to return. And then we can actually just get the block. So we can do syntax node. Not like that, like that. Block will be equal to syntax node dot. There's a way to get a child, right? Context, maybe? Aha. Using syntax node, and then we get the child, so then we pass in the kind of child that we want, which will be the Java block, right? So that gets us the block, and then we can see if the block is empty, right? Which is going to be pretty simple to do because we can get the children. So we can see if the children of that block are empty. And then that is the best way to do that. First of all, let's do if block is equal null, we'll return, because obviously if there is no block after the catch statement, then we can just move on, right? And then let's just have if is empty block, and pass in block, then report that, right? And I think we don't need to pass in anything because that's just the arguments that you pass in. This is like the node it reports it on. So this would be the actual catch statement or the catch clause, right? Because syntax node is that catch clause. And then these are the arguments you would pass to it. So for example, if you had unresolved import java.util, this would be the java.util, and this would be the entire import statement, so the entire node. So actually here we don't want an argument. Now we do want to make an is empty, and it's not going to be quite as simple as just seeing if the list is empty, because you can have trivial tokens, right? So you can have comments, you can have white space, you can have semicolons, you could have all of those. That would still constitute, however, it would still constitute an empty block. So we do need to handle that. And this is not the way to do it, unfortunately. But it's pretty similar. So we would just do if not child is instance of syntax token. And that's kind of it. So if it's not a syntax token, we return false. Else we return true. I don't think there's a better way to like get that, right? Can we do syntax kind? I mean, we can do syntax kind token. But doesn't really help us, right? So I don't think that's what we want, because it's not quite the same thing. And I mean, that's basically it. So we do then need to obviously go ahead and register this inspection, so the IDE will know the inspection exists. So if we do core, that's probably correct. Yeah, that's correct. Then we need to register it in here. So here's where we use the ID. And then finally, we just need to add it into the rule providers. And that, chat, is it. So if we now run Railroad, hope I haven't forgot anything. Fingers crossed. We should have a warning when we have an empty catch block. So just going to open SST test. Okay. So if we just do a new, I'm going to do a new file, because I've got the Java class doesn't actually work. It does some very janky things. So we'll just do e.java. Now, do I need a package? No, I don't want a package or anything, right? So we just do class e. Maybe one thing we'll do today as well is make sure that basically the name of this class matches the name of the file. That's currently not handled, so that maybe is something we can do later. Let's just have a void test. And also, friggin' indentation, man. It doesn't automatically indent, and it is quite annoying. So obviously we'll do that at some point as well. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's just go system.out.prints line beans and close that. This is horrible to type in without indentation. Let's catch on. It doesn't really matter. We'll just catch on exception. Currently, we don't have any inspections for like checking if the exception is even thrown. Now that's not going to work until we import it, though. So, do I remember where inspection is? I think it's just java.lang, right? Is it? Possibly? I think it maybe just hasn't updated. Would that be correct? Empty catch block. No, that says it still can't resolve the type. Interesting. Is it java dot... No, it's not java.lang, is it? It's java dot... Where the hell is exception, actually? I don't know. It is java.lang. Interesting. Let's close the file and reopen it. Maybe... Interesting. Huh. What if I do IO exception? Or like, what if I do this? And then Oh, it doesn't like that. Oh, interesting. Okay. What if I do this? That's interesting. Is it saying that's an error though? Maybe it's saying that's an error. 1 second. Did we classify it as an error? We didn't. That's certainly not meant to happen. Am I doing something else wrong? Like, I was trying to see how do I import in, like, in here or something. You did a list. Okay, what if I try and use list? List of string my list. Okay, interesting. Okay, that's also not right. What the hell is happening here? Okay, that's interesting. Okay. I mean, that's not really relevant, to be fair, right now. We can come back to that later. That might need some tweaking with some internal things, rather than the inspection itself. But the important thing is we know that this works, right? Because it says here, empty catch block. So that, like, that's the important thing. And if I put, like, for example, a comment in here, it should still say that. Hello. Don't know why comment isn't highlighted. I think because of the error. Yeah, I don't know why this error is happening. Regardless, it still says that, so that's fine. But if I actually put, like, system.out.println hi, that should no longer, yeah, so that no longer says it's an empty catch block. It's only when it is actually empty. Okay, that's fine. That's fine then. Obviously, we need to come back and fix this, but we can do that, right? What are you currently working on? Right now, we are working, or we just finished working on empty catch blocks. This isn't used, interestingly enough. Aha! Wait. Oh, wow. Okay. That's why it's being a bit janky, I think. I think this is why it's being a bit janky. Because what I haven't done is I haven't done, Java semantic rules dot empty catch.id Java semantic rules dot empty catch dot default severity and Java semantic rules dot message template. And that might be the issue because the ID actually would have been incorrect. So I think what that meant is that that's why it wasn't highlighting, I think. I could be wrong, but I think that's the case. That won't be why the exception was erroring, but I think that's why it wasn't, like, underlining or anything. Nope, that actually was not the issue. It is just because of the error then. Okay. Regardless, that was an important change. That does still need to be there. Okay, well, we can move on to the next one, though. So, see what one I wanted to do after that one. Okay, yeah. The next one we can do is check if the public class name is the same as the file name. that is probably the best next thing to do. So I think let's do that. So let's do public static final. We're not going to do unused variable. Definitely not. That one's going to be really complicated. Because we're obviously going to have to inspect basically the entire scope and subscopes to see if it's used. That's going to be interesting. So not yet. For now, let's do... Okay, first of all, let's see what IntelliJ says when we try and do that, right? So like, if I renamed this to beans... Okay, not what I expected it to do. Is it because of that? Okay, here you go. This is okay. This is what I thought it was gonna do. So class beans is public, but should be declared in a file named beans.java. So this is only when you have public classes, right? Like if this was class beans, yeah, that error goes away, because it's not public. It's fine. But when I have a public class, it has to fit the name. You can see, well, that's a duplicate class, but if I say hi, then we get that error again. So what we need to check for is a public class. So what do we call the inspection? Public class. Okay, it knows the error I'm trying to get to. Public class in non-public file. It's not really correct, is it? Like, it's not that the file isn't public. That doesn't make sense. The issue is public class named after file. That's better. I mean, should it be not named after file though? Yeah, I think it should be inverted. It should be not named after file. Likewise, that should be not named after file. When did you start modding? I started modding a very long time ago. I don't know. Probably 6 years ago? Maybe? Or maybe... might actually even be like 7 or 8 years ago at this point. 1 second. I mean, I can find out when my first tutorial was, and that will give me a pretty good indication of when I started modding. Interesting, my first tutorial was 7 years ago. 1st of December 2018. So I probably started modding probably... I'm just trying to think how much I knew when I started the tutorials. Must have been about a year, maybe a year and a half. So I'd be comfortable saying I probably started July 2016? So probably... wait, no, that mean I've done it for about 10 years. That can't be right. Could that be right? 1 second. I can have a look. if I look at this. Okay. I've put on my website I started programming 1st of July 2018. I don't think that could be correct. So... I don't know. I reckon... I don't know. It was a long time ago. That's all I can tell you, to be honest. It was a long time ago. Anywhere from 7 to 10 years ago. I don't know exactly when I started because I don't have like any of the old projects I was doing. Like I don't have Git repositories for them. I don't have the code on my PC anymore. I don't have any published mods of them. I don't even have the old channel I used to watch the modding tutorials on back in the day. So I don't even know when I used to watch the tutorials. So I can't tell you exactly when. How did you learn the skills you have and what do you recommend? Honestly, it's the lamest answer. But it's the true answer, and it's just time. And I always say this every time someone asks. It really is just time. The more time you spend, the better you're going to get. The other thing is help people. Like if you help people solve problems, you're going to learn yourself a lot faster. So I always recommend join the Discord. You can run ! and Discord in the chat. I always have to do this. You can run ! Discord to join the Discord. Feel free to help people there. Admittedly, we don't get many people asking for help nowadays because I haven't done tutorials in a long time. That may change soon, but we'll see. Yeah, I mean, just lots of time. Don't try and start with the mod you want, right? So like, don't try and start making, you know, a crazy space mod. Like, it's just not going to happen. You need to start small. Otherwise you'll just get like so demotivated. It just won't work. I'm just trying to think, what do I even call this inspection? Okay, I have an idea. And the reason I say that, by the way, is because I literally started with a mod I wanted to make, and I literally just couldn't do it. Like I got to a point. 1 second. I got to a point where I pretty much gave up. And I switched to like a completely different project that was just me adding random things. And it worked, to be honest. It went a lot better once I was not trying to work on something I actually wanted. That's not correct. No, that is correct, actually. Never mind. I'm crazy. Do you earn something off modding, or is it just a hobby you like to do? I do not earn anything off modding. I have not earned a penny. Well, I have off YouTube, but not much. Not anything that is worth shouting about. I'll tell you that. Yeah, I need to open like one of these on my other monitor or something so I can reference it. Because otherwise I'm going to mess this up every single time. Hello 7410, welcome to the stream. Helping people also help me learn. Yes, I think that is genuinely one of the best ways to learn. Like when I started, I honestly probably spent more time helping other people than I did writing my own mods. You know, back in the day, a lot of you guys won't get the reference probably, but I was in the Lawmaster Discord server, nowadays called Technovision, but he doesn't post anymore. So The new modders will not know who he is. The old modders will get some crazy nostalgia, maybe. Who knows? But yeah, I spent most of my time in there just helping other people to fix their issues, even though I didn't know what I was doing. Like, I had no idea what I was doing. But in doing so, I was able to learn basically everything I know, to be honest. So, I mean, that's just kind of how it is. Yeah, that's fine. And then... reports. Yeah, there you go. Okay. IDE rules. I mean, eventually... Okay, the other thing, I probably should have mentioned this first, actually. You need to know Java. Like, if you don't know Java, you might get a decent way, but you will, I promise you will get to a point where it's just impossible. Like, there will be a point where you get stuck and you actually cannot move forward. And I'm once again saying this from experience, because I started not knowing Java, and I got okay, like I got to dimensions, I think, but beyond that, I couldn't do it. Like, I tried to do block entities so many times, tile entities back in the day, and I couldn't wrap my brain around it because you just don't have the fundamental knowledge that you do genuinely need. So I mean, it is what it is. You know, you gotta put a little bit of time in. I say a little bit of time in. It depends how fast of a learner you are, I will say. And how motivated you are, more importantly. But you can, you know, if you're a fast learner, you could probably learn Java in... I actually don't know. I want to put a time scale on that. I don't think I want to put a time scale on that. Okay, no. If you're a fast learner, you could learn Java in 2 months. You could certainly learn enough Java to do Minecraft modding in 2 months. If you are a slower learner, however, I mean, it might take you a little bit longer, but it is worth it, I will say. I learned Java in around 3 months by doing projects. Yeah. I mean, if you're doing projects, you're going to learn significantly faster than, like, if you're just following some course. It doesn't matter what course you do. It doesn't matter how much you pay. You know, you're not going to... there's only, you know, so fast you can do it. IntelliJ calls this inspection class wrong file name. That is probably a better name, isn't it? Yeah. Well, it doesn't really matter, to be honest. I mean, this is the internal name anyways, right? When it gets registered, I actually don't know what it shows up in the settings as. Oh, this. It shows up in the settings. Oh, God. Pardon me. Yeah, this is what it'll be in the settings. Okay. That's fine. In my opinion, following tutorials is useless for programming from my experience. I actually disagree with that. I think it very much depends on who you are as a person and as a learner. I found tutorials to be quite useful learning Java. I wouldn't say they are the most useful thing. I think doing projects is the most useful thing, and I would say that's probably true for most people. But some people need to just be told like how to do something, right? And in that case, I think tutorials are the best way to do it. Yeah, I think also to do the basics, you basically need to follow tutorials. Realistically, like if you're trying to learn the basics without tutorials, it's just not gonna happen. So like there is a certain level at which you do need them. Okay, I'm trying to remember. Do I have I have can I get modifiers? Symbol modifiers, set direct modifier tokens. Might be that. Unrelated, have you watched... Excuse me? Have I watched a bunch of random letters? No, I have not. I don't know what that is. Sorry, I missaid it. Using tutorials in your project, yes, but not directly copying the project the person is doing from the tutorial. Yeah, I agree with that. I think if you're following tutorials, don't just copy the tutorial. Try and do something differently. And I've always said this. This is the same with modding tutorials too, by the way. If you're following a modding tutorial and you see they add a Ruby, don't add a Ruby. Like, that is the worst thing you can do. It doesn't matter what you add, but just don't add the exact same thing the tutorial adds. Like, I don't know. Instead of adding a Ruby, add Amethyst. It doesn't matter. Just don't add the exact same thing. It sounds like a stupid thing to say, but I promise you, in doing so, you're gonna kind of learn. You're gonna learn how to do it because you're having to think whilst you do it. You're not just like mindlessly typing out what you see. You have to think, oh, I have to change this. I have to change this and this. And then when you come back and do it again, you know, oh, I had to change this, this, and this. And you pick up on things. So like, it's actually very important. Oh, they're talking about the new episode of Tadka? What is this? What is TADC? The Amazing Digital Circus? Is this what you mean? I've never heard of this in my entire life. An Australian animated web series. Okay. I have never heard or seen this. But I don't particularly watch Australian TV, so I mean, I probably wouldn't have, I guess. Okay, I think I don't need to traverse here, do I? Because I can get the actual syntax tree. Like that, right? And I can get the root, and then I can get the children. Because I only want to check for the root types. I don't want to check, like, you know, if you have a class inside a class, I don't care about the class that's inside the class. I only care about the top class itself, right? So I think probably this is the best way to do that. So if we call that child, and then if we see if that's a top level type. So I guess the thing with top level types is it's not just a class, right? Because it could also be an enum, it could be an interface, it could be a record, it could be an annotation. Is there anything else? Interface, enum, record, annotation, class, of course. I think that's it, right? So if we have some kind of like private static final list of string, and we call this like top level. I don't like class like. That's silly. I mean type, I guess. Type kinds is equal list dot of. And then we do Java class declaration, Java record declaration, interface declaration, enum declaration, annotation declaration. There you go. Though I don't know. Are these all right? I actually don't know if these are right. If I go, what are they called? Syntax kinds, I think. Java syntax kinds. So if we look in here, here they all are actually. So we've got type declaration, so Java type, Java class, interface, enum, oh, annotation type, interesting. There's also empty type, but I don't think that's really relevant. There you go. So then what we can do is we can check basically this, but we'll obviously make it continue if it fails the first one. So like if not top level type kinds dot contains child.kind, well, it needs to be child.kind.id, but close enough. Can you make a tutorial on biomes and dimensions for Fabric 1.21? No. To put it simply. I'm basically done with the tutorials for Fabric 1.21. However, tutorials may resume for Minecraft 26.1. I honestly don't know yet if I'm going to or not, considering the current state of things, but I'd like to. So, you know, take that as you will. I would like to do multi-loader. And I've been saying that for a while, so I'm happy saying that again. But we'll see. I also don't know what Corpin is doing, because unfortunately I kind of rely on knowing what Corpin's doing, because I know, well, I mean, he has like, how many subscribers does he have nowadays? Way too many, by the way. Let's see. 75,000. Yeah, so like I can't compete with that, right? So I have to be able to do something different. Obviously, if he magically does multi-loader, then basically that's out of the question completely. I don't think he will, though. But you never know. Name is not right. Simple name. So if it does not equal, then we report. We need actual and expected, right? No, so that's the expected. This is the actual. Is there a way to reload your code while in the game because it takes too long to close and restart for little changes? It depends. Kind of, it depends. I mean, it's complicated, to be honest, because there's many different. So it depends on the change you're making, and it depends where you're making the change. So if you add a new class, the answer is effectively no, unless you're using JetBrains runtime. If you're adding a method, the same is true. The answer is effectively no, unless you're using JetBrains runtime. If you're editing the contents of a method, the answer is depends on what the method is. Like if it's something that's cached, or if it's like a registry or something, then the answer is yes, but it won't do anything. Otherwise, the answer is yes. But if you're editing inside a method, it also depends what you're editing in that method. So if you're editing a lambda, then the answer is no, unless you're using JetBrains runtime, in which case, maybe. So it's complicated. It kind of just depends. But if you can edit it, all you need to do, you need to be running debug mode, so the bug symbol up here, and then when you make your change, you can just do build project here, or you can do the W approach and download the single hotspot plugin and just press that instead, which is much faster. So I always do that. Yeah, I mean, if you want to reload more, you need to download JetBrains Runtime, which is basically JetBrains' custom JDK, which allows you to hot swap like methods and classes and stuff. But still, that depends, and also it causes tons of issues in certain circumstances. So, you know, use it at your own peril, I suppose. So yeah. Okay, let's register this man's anyways. Nice. Okay. That's fine, I think. Then do the same thing here. And then add it in here. And shall we try it, chat? Yeah, let's give it a whack. Let's give it a whack, shall we? Oh, I think you guys can hear me gulping. For some reason, my I used to have a ton of filters on my mic, but they've just like gone. I don't know where they've gone, but OBS has just got rid of them. So I don't have the friggin' like noise gate and stuff that I used to have. I need to figure out how to get those back, but it takes ages to friggin' configure it to all the right settings and stuff. Anyways, let's do. I kind of hate this friggin' convention I've started of going down the alphabet, because it makes it horrible to see which one's which. But I guess we might as well friggin' continue with it. So we'll do f.java. Then let's write class. So first of all, let's try this. Let's write class B. And we should see that doesn't error. Now, if I change this to public, it does error. And hopefully it says class F must be declared in a file named b.java. Yeah. Nice. Okay. And if we make this like an interface, that's still fine. If we do record, that's still fine. If we do at interface, still fine. And if we do enum, still fine. Okay. Nice. And if we just do class A, to show that, like, that's fine. This is not fine. Like, if we do another one, for example, if we do public class J, you see that still complains as well. We can even do interface here just to spice it up a little bit, I suppose. Okay, nice. That's pretty good. I need to fix the syntax highlighting here. I still want it to, like, actually syntax highlight this. The fact that it doesn't is a little bit annoying, but I wonder if there's a way to get it to just error on this part rather than, because like this entire body is also errored, right? If I start doing void run, you see that's not going to work either. I wonder if there's a way I can get it to fix that. So it's done child. I don't think so, unfortunately. Let me go back to Java syntax kinds. We can have a look at all the different kinds in here, and maybe you got like the body. I'm wondering if maybe if we just target type declaration, maybe. Incremental anchor kind IDs. There must be a way. Not sure. I'll look at that at some point in the future. But that must be possible. Maybe there's a way we can change that method so like it can share an error across multiple nodes or something. Oh, I think that's probably the way to do it. Okay. So let's see what we want to do next. Okay, the next one it recommends that we do is a lowercase class name. So this one's going to be really simple, to be honest. So obviously this is more of like a style guideline, right? Rather than like an actual error, but it's nice and easy to do, so we might as well do it. Class name, or let's call it lowercase class name. And we're not going to make this a warning, we'll just make this an info. Because I don't think this actually like a problem, right? Like if I did public class A, let's just make it static, right? Interesting. IntelliJ actually doesn't warn you about that. Huh. Interesting. I thought IntelliJ would warn you about that. Unless it's maybe, it might be a toggleable thing in the settings that I turned off or something. But okay. We might as well add it because it's nice and easy to do. So we can do a new one and we can do a core lowercase class name inspection. And if I could type, of course, that would be wonderful and helpful. Still can't type. Okay. And then we can implement. I already forgot what we're implementing. Java, Semantic. No. It was just Semantic. Diagnostics provider? No. Wait, I have it on my other monitor. What am I on about? Java inspection rule provider. Okay, I was close beforehand. What is railroad? That is taking you a very long time to ask that, but I think I have maybe exclamation mark railroad? Fingers crossed. Does that exist? Based on the silence from the bot, I'm gonna say no. Basically, Railroad is a Minecraft modding IDE. I'm pretty sure I created that command. But yeah, it's a Minecraft modding IDE, basically. You know what I can show you? I can link to you. Here. There you go. That is like the... That is the page I have on my site for it. There's no images on there, but you can kind of get a gist of what it's for from that. And you've also got the roadmap on there as well, so you can view that. And then you can also visit the actual website itself, which currently is the docs website, but at some point I need to make an actual website for Railroad itself. But yeah, that's how that works. So yeah, it's specifically for Minecraft modding, but obviously we've got to do all the Java stuff first, because you know that's how it works, right? So let's create a private static final list of Java, or what is it? Is it just Java inspection rule? Let's implement. Yes, it is. Okay. Return rules. Rules is equal list dot. Oh God, got a hiccup still. New simple Java inspection rule, and then we do Java semantic rules dot lowercase class name dot ID. Variety message template core naming, and then we do core lowercase colon report lowercase class names like that. Okay. And then we just have to make this method. I'm gonna copy the wildcard one, just so I can do that. And then here we actually want to traverse it, right? So here we want to do context.traverse node, and we want to say if syntax node, or if not objects dot equals syntax node dot kind dot id. We actually want to take from the last one, I think. So let's look at here and grab these and put them there. And then we want to do top level type kinds dot for top level type kind, then we continue. And then we can get the name. Now let me actually open, let's open this one. I think that'd be easier to look at. So we can do symbol, symbol is equal context dot declared symbol, syntax node or else null. Symbol is null, continue. And then we can do string name is symbol dot simple name. And then basically this. So if name is empty, or, well, we actually really just want to do this. If it's lowercase at char 0, or, well, yeah, I guess if it's empty, because otherwise this would throw an index out of bounds exception, which would be like, ugh. So that's fine, I guess. Now what did I do? So class should be named in Pascal case. It's fine, I guess. It'll do. And then we want to open our other class, which is this one. Okay, and then we're gonna do core lowercase class name inspection. We're gonna put another one in here. And then we're going to add that in here. Okay, let's add a couple before we go ahead and actually like run it and test things, right? Let's add a couple more, and then we'll just test them all at once, because I think that'd be a better way to do things. So let's see what the next one is. So the next one is a method named to-do or underscore. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we can do that. So let's do Java semantic rule method named to-do like that. And then we can do Java semantic rule method named underscore. Now this I think should be a warning, right? And well, should it? If I do private void underscore, does that even compile? Underscore is a keyword. Oh, interesting. I mean, you can do that. Okay, well that needs to be an error then, actually. Okay, that's fine for now. I don't know how we're going to deal with like per Java version things. I don't think we have a way to handle that as of yet, but we'll have to come back to that, I guess. Okay, let's just do these ones first. We might as well just put them in here first. So we got core. What are we calling it? Method named to-do inspection. And then core method named underscore inspection, like that. And then we're just going to put them down here and put them in here. Nice. So then we can come back to those in a minute. Let's create the actual classes. So new class, and I need to open my, not that, didn't mean to open that. Okay, so we need to implement Java inspection rule provider on the IDE. We're going to want a private static final list of Java inspection rules is equal list dot of new simple Java inspection rule Java semantic rules dot method named to do, and then core method reports method named to do, private static void. Okay. So here we just want to once again traverse things. So we want to do context dot traverse syntax node. I'm going to do objects dot equals. Like that. If it does not equal, then we will just return. And then we can do... I think we can do the name. We can do simple type name. Let me... Okay, so we want to do something like... I mean... I guess we just want to get the symbol, right? I suppose we don't really want to do anything different. We just want to get the symbol. So we want to do like symbol is equal declared symbol. Symbol's null, return. Right, and then we can just get the name from the symbol, right? So we can do like string name is equal symbol dot simple name. And if it equals to do, then report it. Right? Although, yeah. Okay, actually, this would be easier then. So we don't even need to traverse. We can just do nodes of kind dot for. And this will get us method declaration. And then boom. Even better. Okay, we can do that for this one as well now, right? Is that better though? Well, yeah, because we're doing a double loop anyway, so it doesn't really matter, right? So we do top level type kinds dot for, and then we do context dot nodes of kind top level type kind dot for, and then just do this. Probably worth just calling this syntax node as well, just to make it simple. And we need to implement our rules method. There we go. And then I'm basically just gonna copy this for underscore. So method named underscore. Method named underscore. Method named underscore. Or method named underscore. And if it equals underscore, then boom. And that's basically it for that one. That's not anything special. Later down the line, that kind of thing we'd probably want to abstract out into some kind of like you know, like report on method name or something. But for now, that's fine. So we need to figure out like what the next one to do is. Which I think was some more empty block ones. Okay. Yeah, so those were all the major ones that Codex recommended we do. But we can work on some other ones as well. So we can do like empty blocks. So we can do some more empty blocks. So we can do empty synchronized block and empty switch statement. We can also do like useless default. So if you have a switch statement with just a default, then it's useless. We can do warnings for like single letter field names, or field names equal to the class name. Parameter names being called underscores. Those kind of things. What kind of mod you're developing? I am not developing a mod. We are developing an IDE for modding. Hello Wide, welcome to the stream. Things are going well. We are writing lots and lots of inspections today. I'm actually going to copy empty catch inspection for the next one. So we'll do empty synchronized. And empty synchronized. And let's do same thing here. Java semantic rule. And we can do empty synchronized. And yeah, that should just be a warning as well. That doesn't need to be an error, right? So then we can just change this to empty synchronized. Boom, boom, boom. And rename this to empty synchronized. And this, I think, I don't actually know what that is. Is it a synchronized statement? Not sure. So let's do syntax kind. Synchronized. Yes, it is. Nice. Okay, so I'm just thinking here where we're doing this one. We might also want to do what we did before and do context dot, pardon me, a node of kind. Like that. Just because I think that's better. And then we can do that, and I can paste in that. And basically that's it. I kind of want to move this into the context, actually. So let's do move members to Java rule context. And then where I have it in here, we can do context.isEmptyBlock. And we can make that not static because it doesn't need to be. And do context.isEmptyBlock. And that's just much easier. Okay, so that's the synchronized one, like that's it. Switch statements might be a little bit more complicated. No, actually, I don't think it will, because I think the block of a switch statement is still a direct child of said switch statement. So I think actually it will be exactly the same. So much so that we can just copy paste it and say empty switch statement, empty switch statement inspection. And then empty switch statement. Come in here, do a Java semantic rule, empty switch. That's just on empty switch. I mean, I guess we can do that and get rid of the statement. Supposed to be consistent, we should get rid of the statement. Empty switch, empty switch, empty switch. And then report empty switch. And then Java switch statement. We still look for a block, I believe. I think that's it, right? Let's just check this is correct. So if I go into here. Nice, so that is indeed Java switch statement. Okay. So that's that one. Let's move on to the next one. So the next one is a useless default in a switch with no other labels. Okay. This one will be a little bit more complicated. But it's fine. So I'm actually going to copy the switch statement because it will be similar-ish. We can say core useless default in switch inspection. And we can call this useless default in switch. And do the same thing here. So Java semantic rule. Useless default in switch. Useless default in switch. Boom, boom, boom. I think that is still a control flow thing, right? So report useless default int switch. Nice. So we'll get the block. Then we want to say if it's an empty block, we can just continue. One thing, this is returning. This isn't meant to return. And I need to fix that in all of them, because otherwise that's not going to work. So I need to find all the ones I've just done. So method named underscore. We need to change that to a continue. Method named to do. Change that to a continue. Lowercase name. That's already a continue, so that's fine. Empty synchronized, continue. Empty switch, continue. Empty catch, continue. Okay. So that fixes all of those, because those would have broken. Okay. So then what we can do is we can see if it has a default or not. So I think we can just do symbol default symbol is equal context dot direct child block, and then we can look for the default keyword. So if I do Java syntax kinds and say default, label, okay, yeah, that's not so easy then. Okay, fine, we'll just do boolean has default, and we will have to do it this way. So if it's a Java switch label and I'm not sure. I mean, we could probably just, like, get the... Because we can turn the token into text, right? So, like, child we can't turn into text, but if we have a symbol, right? We can then do symbol.text. No? We can't? Fuck, I thought we could. Wait, do we have to do kind? So like, do we have to do child.kind.text? No. Oh, I know what we have to do. We have to... Okay, I see. So we have to... We're on the right track, I think. So we have to say, okay, first of all, I think we're doing this wrong. I think we have to actually check for the rules, right? Yeah, we have to check for a switch rule, not a switch label, right? So, like, if we have this, then this is a label at this, or this is a rule, I mean. Wait, no, am I doing it the wrong way around? I mean, we don't need the block anymore, I don't think, actually. Do we? I think we just want to do, like... So, we want to go for the children. That's like, number one thing, right? So, like, this is going to be... the rule. Right, so what we'll do here is we'll do Java switch rule. And then we'll go through rule.children. Okay, and this will then be the label, I think. So this will be wait, will it? Trying to look at like what I have so far. What does this reckon? Okay. Well, no, this won't work. Wait, what am I doing? What am I doing? I don't want to get the switch rules. I do want to get the switch statements. Okay, I got a little bit confused. So we do want the switch statement, right? I think what we then need to do is we need to go through the children of the switch statement, which will be the rules, right? And we check if it is an actual rule, I think is the important thing. So, can I switch just to object.equals? Yes, I can. So, I'm going to say, like, if it's not a rule, continue. And then we can get the label after that, I think. So we get the direct child of the rule, which should get us the label. So if we do syntax node, label is equal context.direct child of rule, Java switch label. And then if label is equal null, continue. And then we can see if the label contains our default, I think. I think I was overcomplicating it. Let me just check that Java switch label is correct. Yeah, it is. Okay, don't do that. I wanted to do that. There we go. So, yeah, once we have the label, then we can do label.children. So that'll get us the child. And then if the child is a syntax token. Then we can get the token, and then from the token we can get token.text. So then that means we can do default dot equals token dot text. And if it does, then we can do something. I think let's take this out into a method. So extract method, and I'll just say like contains default. And then that means here we can just return true and return false. And make that a boolean. We do still want that. We just don't want that. Like that. And then we can just say if it contains a default. So that then gets us the default thing, right? So boolean, let's say, has other labels. So how do we want to do this actually? If it contains default, we can say has default is equal true. Boolean has non-default is equal false. If I mean, really, the non-default one is just going to be switch statement.children. Dot stream. And filter basically to say that it's a rule and it has a label. Oh, well, actually, no, I guess this is right? We just do else has non-default is true. So then, if it has default and it does not have a default, ah shit, but that's not going to work. Okay, well in that case we can do this then, right? So we can do symbol, default symbol, right, is equal null. And here we can rename this to find default symbol. Or, well, actually, we want a syntax node, not a symbol. So it will rename this to default syntax node. And this will be find default syntax node. This will then return a syntax node. So we return child. Here we return null. So then we do this. So that will be so if node is equal null, else we set that like that. And I mean, once we found the default, to be honest, well, no, we don't want to break, I guess, do we? So then we can say if default syntax node is not equal null and it does not have a non-default, then we report that the switch statement only has a default label, making it redundant. Yeah. So I'm not sure exactly what like IntelliJ says. Switch statement only has default case. Switch statement only has a default case. I mean, to be honest, I actually kind of prefer my error message. But we can do like this. I think that just makes more sense. Only has a default case, making it redundant. But obviously that doesn't go there, right? So we'll just get rid of that. And then we can handle that like where that is actually where that actually needs to be, right? Okay. Then we can just paste that in here. Nice. Okay. So, yeah, that kind of sums that one up. Next one, pretty simple as well. So this is just going to be for like single letter field names. So we can just do Java semantic rule, single letter field name. So we can do a new class. Well, let's do so like where we're doing method named whatever. Let's just take this one and let's do core single letter field name inspection. And let's do single letter field name, boom, boom, boom. Report, single letter field name. And this will be whatever field is. Field declaration, I guess. Is that right? Yeah. So that gets the symbol. Then we can get the name. And then if name.length is equal 1, then that's it. That's literally it. nice and simple. Okay. Then we can do the next one, which is when the field name is the same as the class name. So I don't know if this is an error or not. Let's do public static class my class, and then let's just have a private string my class. You can do that. IntelliJ actually doesn't warn you for it, interestingly enough. You'd think it would, wouldn't you? What if I did public my class? Okay, that's stupid. That's so stupid. Okay. I actually kind of want to make this a warning as well. And that's fine being... Well, I guess this might as well also... yeah, that might as well also be a warning, since these ones are... that can be an info. Now that I think about it, because we also have like these ones as info, so that's fine. But this should be a warning because that's bad. So let's just copy single letter field name, because once again we're working with field names, right? So we might as well say field name same as class. Okay, and then do core field name same as class. Field name same as class. And report. No. Field name same as class. Okay. So this obviously gets a little bit complicated. So what we have to do here is we have to get the parent of this symbol. Now, I think we can just do symbol.parent. We can't, but we can do syntax node.parent, right? Yes. Because you can only have fields inside a class, right? So that's fine, I think. So yeah, we want to filter to this. This will need to change to objects.equals. Flat map to the declared symbol. Yeah, so then if the symbol's name is equal to the class name, then we just report symbol.simple name. And then we should also do class symbol.simple name as well. Like that. And that's basically it. Well, that is it for that one. I don't know why I keep saying that's basically it. That is literally it for that one. And then I think I had one more I wanted to do. Yeah, so that's parameter names being called underscore. Which, I mean, once again, it's going to be really simple to do. So we might as well do it. Java semantic rule. Parameter name underscore. Hello Frosty, welcome to the stream. So let's just take method named underscore, copy it, and let's call it or parameter named underscore. This will be parameter named underscore, parameter named underscore, boom, 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 boom. Rename this to parameter. And then we just have to find what a parameter is, which I think is just, yeah, Java parameter. Boom. We can get the symbol, we can get the name. If the name is underscore, then we report it. That is it. Nice and shrimple. Lovely. Okay. Now that's an error. Yeah, that's an error. That's fine. That is kind of all the ones I had planned. Let's quickly go ahead and register these, and then we'll test them, and then we'll look at maybe doing more afterwards. But let's just register all these first. So come into here, and we're just gonna have to go one by one. So it's gonna take a hot minute because Copilot is not gonna do this. So I'm gonna just close these real quick. Close that. I'm going to move this to my other monitor. Okay. So last one we did was method named underscore. So let me find that. Wow, we've done a lot since then. Okay, I didn't realize we did so many since then. Okay, so the next one we have is empty synchronized. So let's do core empty synchronized. Core empty synchronized. Hello, Copilot? No, Copilot's gone. Okay. That's just rude, to be honest, but okay. Then we have core empty switch. Core empty switch is equal to a new core empty switch. Copilot is actually just gone. Like it's just given up. Okay, that's nice. Core useless default. Useless default is equal to a new core useless default. Core single letter field name exception. Core or inspection, I should say. Okay, then we have field name as class name. Core field name as class. Or field name same as class, whatever. Okay, then we have a core parameter name underscore. Like that. And then we have to register all of these, which... Can I have Copilot back, please? Should maybe just reopen the file and it might come back. Yeah, there you go. That's weird. Don't know why it did that. Okay, and then we just need to add them all in here as well. Voila. Ideally, we write some tests for these as well, but we can come back to those in the future. Or I can just get Codex to write the tests for me. Because I hate writing tests. But okay, let's actually test it manually first. I think that's kind of more important. And see what happens. So we did... I'm trying to remember what ones we even did. Okay, so if we come into f.java. Okay, yeah. So here we did file does not match, blah, blah, blah. I've also done lowercase class name. So if I do class ABC, that should give us a warning. Class ABC should be named in Pascal case. Okay, lovely. Then we have method named to do. So if we do in here. Okay, apparently tab is like 8 spaces. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Void to do. That should give us a warning. And hopefully that says method to do is named to do. Okay, that is not a great that is not a great error message name, is it? Okay, let's go ahead and fix that real quick. Method is named to do. Consider giving it a more meaningful name. Okay, I'm gonna fix this for a couple other ones as well. Okay, I fixed a couple of the other ones that will also say that as well. I have actually also just accidentally closed that, which I don't want to do because I want to be able to look at them whilst we test them. So that's the to-do one. Next is a method named underscore. So this should error when we have a method with an underscore. So void underscore should give us an error. Yep. So I have fixed that error message now. So it's not cringe like that, but that works. Then we have an empty synchronized block. So let's do an actual method. So void run, so that we can test out some actual 1, 2, 3, 4 synchronized, and like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. This gives a warning because it's empty. Yeah, nice. And let's just try write like a normal synchronized block and see if that works. Synchronized system.out.println beans. Nice. So that doesn't give us a warning. The keyword is not highlighted though. That's not ideal. Don't know why it's not doing that, but that's something to come back to at some point, I suppose. Then we have empty switch. So, I mean, once again, this is going to be basically the same. So we can switch on like that or something. And that actually doesn't look to have given us a warning. It probably has to be like that. That's actually not warning us at all. Interesting. Okay. Let's look at core empty switch. That's synchronized. Core empty switch. Here we go. So we look for a Java switch statement. We look for the block. Maybe the block is null. It actually might be. If we go Java syntax kinds, and if we find switch, yeah, I don't think switches actually use a block. Let's have a private static boolean is empty switch. And then what we'll have to do is we'll just have to, so like that won't work. We'll just have to do is empty switch, which takes in context syntax node, and then we can just do for children kind.id is equal label, or it's a rule. And can I just replace that with, oh, what about here? I think I have to click on that, don't I? Can I just not replace with objects.equals? Okay, well I can flip the equals anyways. Flip. Then that will at least avoid a null pointer exception. I can also safe delete that. And boom, so that should now work. We'll come back and test that in a minute. We'll test the other ones first. So then we have a useless default in a switch. So let's test that one as well. Okay, so we'll do like this. And we're going to say 1, 2, 1, 2, default. So that says switch statement only has a default case, making it redundant. So hopefully if we add in a case like that, nice. So that now works. And if we do also like that as well, that works. Lovely. Okay. So that one works. That's good. Okay, so next one is single letter field name. So if we just have a Private string A. That should... Interesting. That actually hasn't picked that up. Don't know if it needs... Maybe because it needs to be a public class? Or something? Public class. Let's see if this is why. I don't think it is, but... Yeah, that doesn't seem to have liked that, does it? Okay, interesting. We'll have to come back to this one in a second. Then we have field name, same as class name. Presumably that's not going to work either then. But we can try it. Yeah, so that doesn't work either. So we'll have to come back to that one too. Then we have parameter name underscore. So let's try to void run2. And let's just pass in a string array underscore. And yeah, that's worked. And just check that that is, yeah. Okay, good. I'm just going to say which is not allowed. I'm going to get rid of the in Java shenanigans. Okay, so we need to fix the field name stuff. Not sure why those ones aren't working, so we're going to have to try and figure that out. And then I think once we've done this, I think we will be done for today. Because we've made quite a bit of progress here. We've done quite a few inspections, so let's go. What was it? Field name. So we've got field name, same as class. So this should just look through all the field declarations. Gets the symbol. We get the parents. Class declaration. It gets the declared symbol of that. It checks if the symbol is equal to the class name. Yeah, I'll come back to that one. Let's do the single letter field name. So... I'm not sure why these aren't working, guys. I'm gonna ask Big Man Codex. Why isn't... that one and that one working? I need to take this off, man. I'm getting way too hot. It doesn't help that I have a jumper on as well. Okay, it is, here we go. Problem is the code you're inspecting. So it says... I think I'm targeting the wrong thing. So it says here... Java field declaration is the whole declaration node. So the declared symbols are attached to the variable declarator nodes, not the field declaration nodes. So what we need to target is not field declaration, it's variable declarator, or however you want to say that, declarator, whatever. Also, it says that for the class one, the parent is not going to be the class declaration, which makes sense. The parent is actually going to be a class body as well. So, and what we're going to need to do for the variable, so for like, oh wait, but actually this one isn't going to work. This one's not going to work like that. But like this one, we probably want to do syntax node.parent. And then, so like this one I think is correct now. So it gets the symbol, and then it will get the parent, and if the parent is not a field declaration, then it just continues. Because obviously a variable declarator or declarator could also be like a local variable, right? So we want to check that the parent is a field declaration. Okay, so it says, Codex says it's fixed this one, so let's see what it's done. So it gets the variable declarators, which is what I was doing. I don't like that though. There you go. Okay, so then it gets the parent. If the parent is not a field declaration, it continues. Then it gets the symbol. Okay, then it gets the class symbol, which does the enclosing type. Oh, I did. Okay, I didn't know that was a thing. To be honest, I didn't know there was a way to just get the enclosing type. But yeah, that's obviously a lot better if it can just do that. Okay, lovely. So let's check these ones work then, and then that will probably be the end of the stream once we've got that working. So let's give it a run. Okay, let's go f.java, and we should now see field A has a single letter name, and field A has the same name as its containing class. And also we should now see that the default one works, so default only has a default case, and then this one also says empty switch statement, and then also, like for example, this one is now going to give us a more descriptive name, so method is named. That says, still says actually it's not allowed in Java. I just wanted to say not allowed. Just make sure it doesn't say that anywhere else in any of the other ones, because that's obviously not ideal. Nice, but that's fine. All the other ones are fine. This one says parameter is named that. Nice. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. We got all of that working. I'm just going to quickly ask Codex, can you write tests for all the new inspections I've added? Here, and we'll just let Codex write those tests for us. Check that all the tests pass, and then we will be done for today. And yeah, we'll come back to We'll obviously come back to this next weekend as well. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna wait. Will we? Yes, we will. I'm gonna go ahead and actually schedule that now, because otherwise I will forget and I will end up leaving it until the very last minute to actually go ahead and schedule it. So first of all, I'm gonna schedule Industria for Saturday the 28th at 7 p.m. GMT or UTC, whatever. Give that a second. Okay, that one's done. And then I'm going to schedule a railroad stream. And this will once again be semantic analysis that we'll be working on. So that's not going to change, by the way. And that will be scheduled for the 29th at 7 p.m. GMT/UTC. Okay. Both of those are scheduled. What is Codex doing? It is compacting its context. Lovely. Oh dear. Okay. Oh, it doesn't like this one. Core public class not named after file expression. So what has it changed? Or else no string actual type name. Port. Oh, it's flipped them. But that's not correct. Is it? No, that's not correct, right? I'm pretty sure that's not correct. Because if we look at that core public, so here we go. So we report the actual type name, which is the symbol name, right? So that's like the field name, and then expected class name is the file name. So if we look at the semantic rules, see what we put. So, oh, never mind. That is correct. that actually, yeah, it is right. Okay, fine. I'll let it off. There you go. There's our tests, and hopefully it will go ahead and run these for us as well, so I don't have to run them. Let's see. Is that what it's doing? It is. Let's see if that test... Oh, it failed. Oh, railroad's running. Oopsie daisy. Probably should have noticed that. Okay, it's just not going to run it again. Fine, we'll run it ourselves. Now, as soon as I'm done streaming, I need to go eat because I am starving, bro. My tummy is rumbling. Don't know why. I literally had dinner, like. I guess I didn't have much for dinner, to be fair. But nice, that works. Lovely. Anyways, I am going to go ahead and end the stream here. As I say, I will be live again next Saturday and Sunday. We'll do Industria on Saturday, Railroad on Sunday. And yeah, I will see you all then. Good. Bye.